Good morning from Wadi Rum. It's a beautiful morning here in the desert on day 10 of EF Ultimate Breaks Egypt and Jordan tour. It is bright and early. It's about 7:30. I'm here saying goodbye to the desert. It's our last full day of this trip. I'm so sad. It has been incredible to spend 2 days here. Look at that sunrise. We had to say goodbye to our tent, and now we are here getting some breakfast before an 8 o'clock bus ride. We're leaving. We are here getting some breakfast before we have to leave at 8 o'clock for a long bus ride. It's about 4.5 hours today. We are heading back to Amman because we all have flights out tomorrow. So, kind of sad. This has been an amazing trip. Highly, highly, highly recommend. I'll do my full review in my day 11 next week's video. And I will also have one on my blog, so you can read it too. But today we have a long drive. On the way, we're making a few stops. We're going to do some shopping, which is good because I have a lot of dinar left to spend. And then we're stopping at a castle, which didn't know that was a thing in Jordan. The country keeps surprising me. So it's actually a Christian castle, I believe, if I read correctly. So it should be interesting, and it should be a good way to break up the drive. I don't know how exciting today's video will be because after the drive we just have the farewell dinner, which is super sad. I love everyone here. I'm gonna be sad to say goodbye, but I'm gonna enjoy this last day, enjoy my last 30 minutes in the desert, and go get some breakfast because I am starving. I will talk to y'all in a bit. Hello, I just wanted to check in. We are here at Kerak Castle. It is behind me. We were just inside. It has really good views. It's actually really interesting. One, I love castles and I didn't expect to see one here. Number two, not number two, but hopefully you can't hear the call to prayer over me. The sun must be at peak whatever it is. Oh, number two, it was actually built by Christian crusaders in the 12th century, and then they had it for a couple hundred years before the Muslims took over this region and took over the castle as well. So pretty interesting history here at Al Kerak Castle. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So we just have a little bit of a break here, and then we have 2 hours back to Amman where we are eating lunch. It's 1 o'clock now. Yeah, so we're eating lunch in Amman, and then we have the farewell dinner still later. So hopefully we get to Amman pretty soon so we don't eat too close to the dinner. I don't know. And then we just got our pickup schedule for our airport transfers, and most people have 3 a.m. flights. So they are getting picked up between like 10:30 and 11:30 to go to the airport, which sucks for them. My pickup's at 5 a.m. for my 9 a.m. flight to London. So could be worse. I don't know if I'm gonna sleep or stay up, but at least I'm not getting on a 3 a.m. flight because that sounds miserable. I think they all have layovers in Germany. Maybe a couple in. One girl has a Doha layover. I'm not sure where the others are. Me and 2 other people, a couple, have our layovers in London. So same as my flight here. I'm going Amman to London, London to Chicago, but I won't worry about that now. I will get into that in the next video, the last one in the series. Right now we're gonna head back to Amman. It's like a 2-hour drive, so hopefully I can sleep because I'm tired. We are back at our hotel in Amman. It's the same hotel that we stayed in for our first 2 nights here in Jordan. I just wanted to check in. I originally was going to cut this video tonight, but since we didn't do much today and it's been kind of boring, I'm just going to combine this with the rest of the trip. So after this we have the farewell dinner, which super bummer. I'm really sad, but also I'm kind of missing my cat, so I'm kind of ready to go home. So tonight we have the farewell dinner at a Lebanese restaurant. Our tour director says it's really good, so we'll be there to say goodbye to everyone, enjoy our last meal in Jordan. It's included, and we also get 2 drinks as well, so get a little bit of wine and then say goodbye to everyone, say goodbye to Radwan, our tour director here in Jordan. And then I have a 5 a.m. pickup at the airport, so I'm currently getting packed. Yeah, and then I'm gonna get ready for the farewell dinner, and then I will check in with y'all from the airport in the morning. It's gonna be an early morning, but it'll be good to get going early so that I can get home at a decent time. I'm set to land in Chicago a little before 7 local time, so 7 p.m. that is. So shouldn't be bad. I will check in the morning from the airport here in Amman. Good morning. It is officially day 11, the final day of Egypt and Jordan. I'm here in my hotel room. My roommate left like 6 hours ago. So did most of the group. So there's just a few of us left here at the hotel. It's 5 in the morning and I have not slept. Yeah, me and a couple people after the farewell dinner, which was super good, by the way, went to the hotel bar. A couple of us were there until it closed, closing down the hotel bar that was American themed, quite fitting. We also stole the TV and played country music, so it was a fun time. And I was drinking vodka Red Bull so I could stay awake. I did. I just laid in my bed for the last few hours. And now me and 2 other people are getting picked up to go to the airport. The transfer is included and was scheduled by EF since we all booked our flights through them, which is kind of nice. It stinks for the people who had to go to the airport at like 11 p.m. And have 3 a.m. flights, but it's not like I slept anyway, so I'm just vibing at this point. My flight is in 4 hours. I have the flight from here in Amman to London on British Airways again. The plan is to sleep the whole time. Hopefully the Red Bull wears off in the next 4 hours. Not too soon though, because I need to get through customs in the airport and everything. So I am going to the airport on my flight. If I'm not asleep the whole time, I'm going to add up all the money that I spent. I'm going to write down a few major points of the trip, and I hopefully will be in a lounge in London next time you see me, and I will tell you how much I spent on this trip, my overall thoughts, which, spoiler alert, loved this trip. Very good. Top 2. This is my 5th EF trip. I have done Belize, South Korea, the Grand Tour of Turkey, Costa Rica, which is my other favorite. How could I forget that? And this one, which is Egypt and Jordan. So Costa Rica and Egypt and Jordan are currently my top 2. So I'm very excited. I had a great time. But I will save that for later. As you can tell, I think the Red Bull's still hitting me. So I'm going to go catch my airport transfer, and I will see you hopefully in London I can't do this with the time change right now. I think we're going back 2 hours. I land in London. You know what? I'll let you know when I get there. See you in a bit. Hello. I am here in London Heathrow. I'm here on my layover. The flight from Amman to here was lovely. I slept the whole time. I literally woke up to have a couple ginger ales and then slept the entire rest of the flight, and I needed it. I'm a little grumpy right now because they took my waters at security and I can't get into a lounge for another 30 minutes because I have a 4-hour layover here, and that's too early. So a little grumpy, a little thirsty, but that's okay because I just did all the math on how much I spent on this 10-day or 11-day trip. If you count the travel days, it's really 9 days. 3 in Egypt, 6 in Jordan. So I did all my math. I did a pretty good job of tracking my spending, I think. It was a little tough because sometimes I'd be with some of the girls and we'd be they would get something or I would get something, or one night we did hookah and I offered to pay for them, but it was so cheap that a couple girls just covered it because it was like $15 for like the whole group of us. So it's like pretty accurate. Like there's stuff like that where like somebody might have bought me food once, but like then their food was probably in my spending. So I have the whole totals. We spent 3 days in Egypt, or 3 nights I should say, 2 days, and I used US dollars the entire time in Egypt. The only thing I did was in Egyptian was a tip. I traded US dollars for somebody to get Egyptian money because they took out too much, so I tipped our tour director in Egyptian. So I spent, in the Egypt portion, I spent 140 US dollars, and that covered 2 meals. The meals there, especially the buffet, was pretty expensive. There was a $20 US dollar buffet and then we went out for a nice meal the last night, which cost $30. So that covers those 2 meals, Ubers, $50 to get into the Grand Egyptian Museum. Tips, I tipped my tour director. We had 2 tour directors this trip, so we tipped them separately, obviously. So when we left our tour director, Dahlia, in Egypt, I tipped her $20, and then I have another like $10 in tips in there for like drivers and stuff. And I bought $1 worth of magnets. So all of that cost me 140 US dollars, which is honestly way more than I thought I would spend in Egypt in 2 days, but I guess the museum and then the 2 expensive meals kind of add to it. And then visas. I'm a US citizen. I got a US passport. I had to buy visas for both of these countries. So easy to do it on arrival. Just buy both of them on arrival. Super easy. Egypt, you need cash. You need exactly $25 in cash, US dollars in cash, and they need to be in good condition. But that was super easy to get at home and just bring with. So 25 US dollars to get into Egypt. And then Jordan was 62 US dollars or 40 dinars. And I was a little worried about that because you had to use cash. Everything I read online said cash. And you had to get to the ATM first to get your dinars because they only took their local currency. But we were able to pay with like Visa, credit cards and stuff. So again, super easy. You can't miss it when you're walking up to customs once you land in Jordan. So both super easy. I was pleasantly surprised with that. So then in Jordan, we were there for about 6 days. If you count the travel day from Cairo to Jordan, because we landed pretty early. I got out cash at the ATM. I think 300 dinar in cash. When we landed at the airport, and I spent 258 Jordanian dinars, and some of this is on my credit card, so I think I came home with some money. So on food for the trip, for the 5 days, this is all just Jordan, I spent 101 dinars, or I converted it all to US dollars, 143 US dollars. I spent $6 dinar on Ubers, which translates to $8.50 US. I spent 29 dinar on shopping, which included scarves, magnets, and a bag of espresso beans, and that translates to 40 US dollars. 29 dinar. Alcohol is pretty expensive in the country, so I got 2 bottles of wine to bring to the desert. I bought it in Amman. Plus, we did some drinks last night after the farewell dinner at the hotel bar. I spent 50 dinar on that, which is 70 US dollars. And that some of that was shared. I didn't actually drink all the wine that I brought to the desert. I shared that. So, and then if you're not a big drinker, that's $70 worth of money you could save. I spend more money on drinking than I do on shopping. So if you're a bigger shopper, you'll probably spend more than 40 US dollars. If you don't drink, you could save a decent amount of money there because alcohol in the country is pretty expensive. So then I spent 62 dinar on tips. 50 of that was for my tour director. 10 of that was for the bus driver, and there were a couple other dollars thrown in there. So that's 62 dinar on tips, which is 88 US dollars. I really liked Radwan, our tour director here in Jordan, and I had like too much money left over, so I think that was a pretty decent tip for 6 days. And then I spent 10 dinar to pay to go to a lookout point up in Petra. Me and one of the other girls, who takes her Instagram kind of seriously, both paid, which is the equivalent of 14 US dollars, which honestly I had no problem paying. I'm sure some people think I'm crazy for doing that, but I don't really care. So that totals 850 dinar for the 5.5 days, or 364 US dollars. Correction, I said that wrong. It was 258 dinar for the 6 days in Jordan, or 364 US dollars, bringing the total without visas to $504. And then if you add in visas, which is 87 US. That would be a grand total for this trip of $591 US for 10 days, which I don't think is crazy considering that includes tips, visas, a decent amount of alcohol, and a $50 museum. So the food in Jordan's super cheap, and so are the Ubers. So if you want to get out during your free time and see either the cities, I felt safe in the Ubers. The Ubers in Cairo are certainly an experience with the traffic there. Yeah, if you are more of a souvenir person, I would maybe budget a little more. If you are drinking a little more, throw in more money. If you don't drink, take out $70. So I would say I'm probably on the lower end of the spending. I'm not a huge spender on these trips if you don't count the alcohol. So I would say for the Egypt and Jordan trip, $500 to $700 is a good estimate depending on your drinking and shopping. And if you're just doing the Jordan trip, because a lot of this applies to Journey to Jordan too, I spent $364 US plus $62 US on a visa, so I would budget around $500 to be safe. And I think I tipped pretty high too, so if you want to tip like whatever they recommend to, you can like lower that. But I had cash left over, and Radwan made it super easy for me to enjoy my time in Jordan. So yeah, that is how much I spent. So now I just wanted to give a few notes on the trip. Again, I did the Egypt and Jordan Pyramids to Petra tour, which is an 11-day tour including travel days. It's one of my top 2 EF trips for sure, along with Costa Rica so far. In my blog, if you click the link in the description, you could see my full blog post review, and I rate these trips out of 5 stars. I'm going to give this one a 4.5. My comments, my suggestions, and like strong things I thought were really good. Suggestion, longer in Egypt. I think it would be great if they could add 3 nights in like Luxor or Aswan. I don't really know which one because I haven't really researched, but if they could throw in 3 days there and make the trip an even like 6 and 6 in each country, I think that would be great. I don't think it would turn off too many people to throw in 3 extra days, but I mean, maybe that would be a little harder with PTO, but I think longer in Egypt would be good. Jordan was definitely my favorite part of the trip, but being in Egypt first, you didn't know how great Jordan was going to be, so we had a lot of fun in Egypt, and I think a lot of us would have done 3 more nights, especially in somewhere outside of Cairo. Another complaint about Egypt is that the food was meh. We didn't really eat like local food. I don't think we ate hotel buffets a lot, and then the $20 buffet on the day we went to the pyramids wasn't great. I don't mind the buffets when they're included, but they certainly get old, and then when you have to spend like $20 on one, it's not. I wasn't budgeted for that day. And then on the other hand, Jordan, completely incredible. If you can't do this trip for 11 days and you can only do Journey to Jordan, do it. It's so much fun. The food's incredible. The food is cheap. Like I just said, I spent very little on food, less than $150. And some food's included too. You get dinners like in the desert. All your breakfasts are included. So a lot of food. Like I never felt like I was going hungry, and it was all so good. I don't want to say this because I was so excited about the hummus at the beginning of the trip, but I was almost hummused out by the end. And I know tomorrow I'm going to be like craving the hummus, but there was no shortage of hummus or falafel or anything, especially at the farewell dinner last night. They really went all out, which was good because the buffet for the welcome dinner at the hotel in Egypt was lacking, so they really made up for it at the farewell dinner. And we were talking at the farewell dinner, and I think this was like the general consensus is that we spent a good amount of time in Jordan. Like we all used the word content. We were content with the amount of time we spent there. I think if you go back or you want to spend longer, there's like some hikes and stuff you can do. But I think the like week-ish in Jordan for your first time to see like Petra, the desert, the city, it was perfect. Oh, and the Dead Sea. Perfect amount of time. We were all content leaving Jordan. Like nobody was really like, oh, I wish we got to stay longer and do this or this. We were all content with the amount of time in Jordan. And again, we would have done more time in Egypt, especially since we were having fun there before we got to Jordan. But again, Jordan was definitely the highlight. If you're just doing Journey to Jordan, you're going to have a great time. Highly, highly, highly recommend. And again, my full review with like how much I spent on the trip itself, like to EF, is at the link in my bio. And one more thing, I do have the comparison video of the bubble tents versus the regular tents in Wadi Rum. So make sure you check that out. The people who did the bubble tents were pretty much all disappointed with it based on the cost of it, and especially after seeing the tents that the rest of us stayed in that were included in the cost of the tour. Overall, people did not think that the bubble tents were worth it, especially when you're paying $500 each and you're sharing. So like one of the couples and there were two sisters. They both had like their own tents. The couple were in one, like the sisters were in one. They paid over $1,000 for their 2 nights in each of the tents, which was crazy. One of the girls actually this morning before we went to the airport looked up the price of the bubble tents like normally, and it was like 200 something per night. So somehow EF and the camp are charging pretty much double of what they advertise online for the price. So make sure you check out that video if you're curious, but overall I would just stick with the included tents for that. I'm glad I did, because otherwise that would probably make me a little upset and maybe like alter my review a little. But yeah, I loved my time in the desert. I loved the Dead Sea. Seeing the pyramids in Petra was like I feel like I need to pinch myself, because how was that real? Overall, a great trip. I still have 40 minutes before I can get into a lounge, so I'm just gonna sit here and try not to dehydrate. Just kidding, that's dramatic. I think I'm still a little sleepy, but overall great trip. I just have my one flight left that leaves in like 3.5 hours, 9 hours on British Airways to Chicago. I'm gonna try to stay awake because I believe it's like 6 a.m. in Chicago now, and I'm trying to get readjusted. So gonna go hang in the lounge when they finally let me in like 40 minutes. And yeah, overall, amazing trip. I had the best time. And again, I've said this in every video, but the group was the best I've had. Like, everyone got along. It didn't matter who you were talking to, who you were sitting with at a meal, who you were walking next to. In every tour, you could have a conversation with them. Everyone meshed. It was amazing, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. The age range for the trip, I'll tell you that. That's all of this also goes in my full blog, link below in the description. The age range, the youngest person was 24 and the oldest person was 34. So a good group. I'm 27. I enjoy the trips where there's nobody really under like 22, 23, because I think by that age everyone kind of just vibes and you don't even know how old people are. So yeah, I think it helps when you travel. Like I said, this right now it's early March, so I did this from like late February to very beginning of March. Like all the college kids are in school, so we got a good group of like working people. So I think that really helps the group dynamic when everyone's a little older. But yeah, best time. I'm gonna go now and stop rambling. Highly recommend this trip. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram or leave a comment below and I can help you answer it. If you want to know what I packed for the trip, which I think I did a very good job packing, check out my days 1 and 2 video. I have a full playlist with all 10 videos if I counted that right. So make sure you check them all out if you want a full idea of the trip, or if you're doing Journey to Jordan, just check out, I believe it starts day 5 to now, which you probably figured out if you're watching this. So I'm gonna go. I will hopefully make it safely to Chicago, and I will see you for my next EF trip, which I'm super excited about. Good morning. I'm here in London at a airport hotel in a chaotic turn of events. My flight last night got canceled, so didn't make it to Chicago. I'm still here in London at a very nice airport hotel. We had some mechanical issues. We pulled back from the gate for like 2 minutes, and then we had to go back because the engineers were working on something, and then they called us back. The plane was super hot. They ended up having to go find a part, reinstall the part. By the time that was done, a couple people passed out. There were at least 2 in my section that passed out. So medics had to come on board and help them. By the time this was all done, the crew timed out. So after about 3.5, 4 hours after departure, they canceled the flight, sent us all into London. We were able to get our bags, thankfully, because I changed clothes. But yeah, so I'm still here. I was supposed to be home a few hours ago, but yeah, just wanted to let y'all know. That's why the video looks a little different than as if I was just going home. So hopefully I was able to get out on the first flight today on British Airways. So I should land in Chicago at 2 p.m. now.